Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Silhouette of a Queen. I am your founder and host, Tiffany Devon. I am a certified life coach and wardrobe stylist, and I style leaders and influencers in fearless fashion. So tonight, I welcome you and Happy New Year, by the way. Happy 2023. 3 years into the start of a new era of 2020. We been rocking and rolling for 3 years. And so I just want to take the time to tell you Happy New Year. And you already know what to do if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and share button. Share this podcast and this live with your family, your friends, your sister friends, your mother, your aunt, your niece. Share it with everyone. Okay. All right. So I want to go ahead and get started right away. And I just don't want to hold you very long. But tonight's segment is called The Journey to More. And so I've been thinking a lot about this segment from, let's see, the last segment that I did, which was in December 2022. I did a year in review for 2022 because, for one, I just thank you guys for growing and learning with me throughout this journey, for doing this podcast. I can't believe, like, in this let's see, this June will mark 3 years that I've been doing the podcast, and I've been, growing and glowing, as I call it, grow and glow. And in order to get a glow, sometimes we have to go through some things, and if we go through them correctly, those things should make us shine brightly. People shouldn't be able to look at the things that we've gone through and be able to see, like, oh my God, it just look like she just been ran over. No, we don't want to look like that. We want to go and grow and glow together. And so the journey to more, um, I believe, is making a declaration and a statement over my life. But I think it's also too that we should make this declaration even to ourselves over our lives as far as the abundant life. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about that today, is the abundance life. What did Jesus mean when he said, I have come that you might have life and that they might have it more abundantly? Typically, when we think of the word abundance, we think of most of our culture, we're kind of groomed and fashioned to think of abundance meaning money, cars, clothes, having a great job. But that is just a small snippet of what abundance means. You can really have those things and not really be living a prosperous life. Having an abundant life is basically being able to be, at peace with yourself, at peace with God, at peace with others. And when you are at peace with all of those things, then those things will start to affect every area of your life. And so let's get started about that. So when I did the last podcast segment in December 2022, that, like I said, I did the year in review, and I knew that when I was recapping the year, I knew that, okay, that I outgrew, like, the messaging that I had been sharing. I wanted to go a different direction, but I wasn't quite sure the direction that I wanted to go. And one of the things that I made very clear to God when I first started the podcast was, look, because I just couldn't even see myself at the time that I started it. I didn't even know where it was going. I had no idea, like the direction that I really wanted to go with it. And so I just said, okay, God, as long as you're talking, I'm talking. When you stop talking, I will stop talking. And God's been talking ever since. So I think he just really just needed a willing vessel to be like, okay, God, use me, use my story, use my life, use my hiccups, my falls, everything that I've gone through, use it, and I'll speak on it. And so that's what I've been doing. And I've been trying to, as much as I possibly can, to just share as much as I can. So that way that it helps you, or maybe someone else that it can help. So that's been my journey. thus far. And so I recognize like, I think I'm done with that, but I don't quite know where I'm moving to. And I was okay with that. I was like, you know what, if this is it, if this is the end of the podcast, I'm cool with that as well. And it was then from the last segment up until now that I recognized that I had made such a huge shift in my life and I had grown exponentially that now I had reached a place where I created a new foundation for my life. This new Tiffany is emerging. And I recognized that most of my life had been spent trying to get to this place of wholeness and fighting to get to this place of wholeness. And it was just a fight and a fight and a fight and a fight and a fight. That once I got there, it was like, now what? No one really talks about what happens when you get to wholeness, when you get to deliverance, as they say in the church world. So I got to this place and I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't really hear a lot of teachers talking about hope. You hear them talking about wholeness, but they're talking about getting to wholeness. Once you get to the wholeness, there's a new job that springs forth. Now there's the responsibility of maintaining your wholeness. And so I'm going to talk about that, maintaining your wholeness. So maintaining your wholeness is a responsibility and it's a job. And it requires a lot of humility because you now have recognized that you have emerged, this butterfly, so to speak, has come out of this cocoon and now it's ready to fly and flap its wings and show the world its beauty, its splendor, its glory, because it's so beautiful. And this aroma and this fragrance that is emitting is something new and fresh and inviting. And now the people are going to come and now the opportunities are going to come. But how do you maintain that? Like I said, it's a responsibility in a way. First and foremost, you have to make a decision that no matter what, you're not going to allow the old you to be in the seat. So for me, I'm transparent, or at least I try to be anyway. I try to be transparent. Most times I would just like to keep some of these things to myself, but for the sake of me being a teacher, it requires me to go into my closet and expose myself and disrobe myself sometimes to the point where I'm just like so uncomfortable. But I'm gonna do it for you guys because I really want you to understand and get the picture of what I'm trying to paint. So for me, the old Tiffany, I just made some notes here and I'm going to be referencing my notes here tonight. But the old Tiffany sometimes could be defensive. I was offended very easily. I was a people pleaser. I was a perfectionist. Uncertain. I wasn't very, I didn't move in self-assurance a lot of times. Sometimes I could be very rigid, and the rigid stem from the perfectionism. Very fearful, anxious, and worried. I was always kind of like comparing myself to, things that were going on around me. I was using things that were going on in the world to set the bar and the mold for how I should live my life. And if my life wasn't living according to this guideline, I was completely feeling like I was totally missing the mark. And because I was feeling like I was totally missing the mark, I was never really fully, I never felt fulfilled in my life. And so it was during a lot of my therapy sessions that I was able to unpack some of these things and understand the root cause of the thought life that was producing a lot of the things that I was producing in my life. And so once I was able to unpack all of that in therapy, then I began to rewrite a new narrative to say, okay, all right, this is false, this is false, this is false. What's the new narrative going to be? And so part of the whole perfectionism thing was, oh my gosh, I just held myself to this standard that I never was going to meet. And when I look at the standard that I was holding myself to, I recognized that, oh goodness, I was never going to meet this. And so I had to slowly start speaking to myself and saying it's okay to make mistakes, make a lot of mistakes. And these things, no one's going, may not even recognize the mistakes that you're making, only but you. But anyway, so that was old Tiffany. And so when I started rewriting this narrative, I started asking myself, well, who do I want to become in this next space of my life? What is God doing? And I started really partnering with him to really start to tear down some of these strongholds and this frame that I had created for my life that really wasn't getting me where I wanted to get. So the new Tiffany says, I want to be self-assured. I want to be assured in myself, even if I don't know what's going on, even if I don't know what the next day is going to hold. There's a new level of peace that I have within myself that says it's okay. It's okay that I don't know. It's okay. And I've also crossed over more into living in the moment. So these are the things that I'm creating for myself in the journey to more. That's the abundant life that Jesus said that he came that we may have. And that abundant life is going to look different for everyone. But I'm just sharing my story as a backdrop as a possibility for you to be able to identify in your own personal life what the journey to more looks like for you. So now I recognize that, it's about building this new foundation, this new thing. And I'm now seeing like, oh man, I really like this new space that I'm in. I'm finally at a place where it feels okay to not know everything. And it's crazy because the old me, not saying that I don't have a vision, because I do have a vision for my life. I do know what I want my life to look like, but I'm not holding myself to impossible measures to get there. It's being more fluid and at peace and free for God to really move in and through my life. For him to say, okay, this is what we're doing this season of my life. This is where okay, this is where we are. So let's rock and roll. Let's move with it. That's where I'm at. So I told myself that we're making this decision that I'm never going back. I'm never going back to the way that I used to be, the way that I used to think and whatnot. And it doesn't mean that those things do not appear, because they most certainly do. Um, it just means that now I am more empowered to make a better decision, to say, I'm not going to respond and react out of emotions now. I'm going to step back and say, how will this new person handle this? And the new person is completely different than how I would have handled things. Like I said, I would hear things through the lens of maybe offense, through the lens of being defensive, being a perfectionist. So those were the things that I would process. My lens would filter my life through, and it was producing, like I said earlier, those results that I really didn't want. So moving forward in this new journey that we're in this new space, I've been talking about how God has been moving us to a new space. As we're no longer technically in the pandemic anymore, but He has birthed us into this new world, and it's a new world filled with so many possibilities, and we get to co-partner with God more than ever to be able to produce something new and fresh that the world has never seen before. And in order to partner with him in this journey to more, in this abundant life that he came for us to have, is going to require that we let go of a lot of the old mindsets, the old habits, the things that we used to do, things that may have been in our path for generations. Culturally in the world, we're shifting the way that women are coming forth more than ever in boldness and leadership. more than ever before. In my day and time, you didn't really see women in the forefront like you do now. But now more than ever, women are in the forefront. And we can do this and still keep our femininity. We can keep our softness. We can keep those things without being harsh. And it is in those things, if that is in your space and that's in your makeup, then those are things that I would invite you to start to dig around and really identify where that's coming from, because the new wave of leaders, us ladies that are coming forth, we're going to our power is going to be in our femininity, in our strength, in how we are able to hold things together. So on this journey, because like I said, we are in this new space, it is going to require a newfound level of humility, because what used to work, it's not going to work where we are today. You're going to have to let go of all the training that you probably have learned, and kind of let it go down the slide a little bit. And this is the part where you get to partner with God even more to say, well, how do you want this to be done? Because I've done it this way. I was shown this way. And as you begin to move into that new space, you're going to start seeing abundance flow into your life. And of course, abundance is connected to money and things like that. But the true abundance is having that inner resolve within yourself that will permeate everywhere that you go. So that is it. That is all that I have to discuss for today, the journey to more. And we're going to continue to make headlines, make headways into this new world that we're in, 2023. I do believe that this is a huge year for big manifestations. I usually don't get off into saying that word because it's become such a buzzword to say in our culture. Everybody wants to manifest everything and manifest this and manifest and manifest, but no one really talks about the mindset that you have to have in order to manifest. No one talks about any of those things that you have to go through to manifest, and how it's connected to your character. But this year, I really do feel like this is a year of manifesting, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Whatever is in your heart space, you're going to manifest more of that. So this is a time to do a swift heart check and see where you are. And so that way, the abundant life that is laid for you, you can truly have that in what you are seeking. So I thank you so much for hanging out with me. And you already know what to do. If you haven't done so already, hit the notification button so that way that you get alerted the next time that I go live. And feel free to hang out with me on social media. I'm not always just on doing videos. I'm always sharing some type of content, but I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and YouTube. So you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And so you can find me on all of the social media platforms. Again, it has been cool hanging out with you guys, and I will see you next time. Peace.